Okay, YouTube, this is my first video recording of my channel, and I wanted to do this product specifically because I felt that there was not enough information on this product. And actually, I'm going to move real fast. There's some better lighting. I had to do this in my basement because it's too bright outside because the sun's out and there's snow on the ground, and too bright up in the house because I have a lot of windows. But this is a product that I felt that there was not enough ground being covered on YouTube. There's some stuff out there, some really brief stuff, but I wanted to go over this weapon in great detail, not just general overview. Well, it's a Knight's Armament SR-15 E3 mod-1. Okay, that's a mouthful of nomenclature. For those of you that aren't familiar with Knight's Armament, essentially what that means, this is their newest or current flagship 16-inch AR-15 type gun. It has everything that Knight's is known for. Their full Ambi lowers, their cold hammer forged, chromed line barrels. The new stuff that comes onto this gun is going to be their newest generation of rail, which is the URX 3.1. Everything else is pretty much a rehash of the prior SR-15s that had the URX 2 and I guess the URX 3, short-lived 3 system. With that, I will go over how the weapon comes out of the box. I just picked this up yesterday, so this is straight from the FFL. I added the EOTech and sling on there just because I've been playing around with it. The EOTech's not what's going to stay on the weapon. It's the only optic I had lying around that wasn't actually being used on any weapon. It was an old training optic, so I just mounted it on there just to play around with it a little bit. It doesn't even have batteries in it. But what comes in the box, you get a flam blue case it ships in. Okay, decent case. Especially for shipping purposes. You open it up and it comes with a, they call it the SR-15 UM, but it's kind of set in like a TM format. About the same size as I guess the military TM for the M4 weapon systems, M16 weapon systems. Comes with one 30-round aluminum magazine by K Industries, which was the old manufacturer for U.S. government magazines, I guess, before I started seeing all the Brownells. But it has a Magpul style follower in it. It's made by Knight's Armament. It's white and it's Teflon coated, but it's significantly better than I think than the just from looks and feel than the Brownells one that sometimes gets stuck because it's kind of coarse. This one's very smooth, and I don't see any reliability issues coming from this mag and follower. It seems to be very, very well made, good mag follower, and it's a standard aluminum magazine. It comes with a magazine well block. This inserts into the magazine well and it can lock, I guess, just to keep debris out and I guess keep the weapon safe. Comes with one gun lock, a master lock. I haven't even opened it, don't even know what it looks like. Then it comes with two quick detach swing swivels, which is a pretty good value. I didn't know it came with that. I'm kind of happy because these things are like 20-25 bucks usually, especially if you buy ones that are good. I bought some cheap ones on the past that have shitted out on me on deployment, and they get stuck. I don't know if it's an environment thing because the moon dust and the dirt and the sand gets in there, and these don't want to push, or they stay open all the time, and your sling's coming off you when you're in the middle of a tick, and you don't want that. But these, anything Knight's is going to be built pretty well. I'm not going to have absolute product loyalty just because of its name, but you do kind of know what you're getting when you buy from a reputable manufacturer. And then the other BII that comes with the weapon is the BII for the handguard. And this is for the 3.1 kit. It has the hand stop and three 3-inch sections of grip panel if you want to have more grip on the weapon. And it's kind of like a G10 1911 grip texture. Pretty nice. I haven't even opened them yet. I don't even know if I will. I do like running the hand stop though. I feel that it's able to give me a better purchase on the gun as and a reference point to where to put my hand each time, so I'm consistent. That aspect I do like of it about the hand stops and the forward grips. Even the thread, I'm not sure I like this. The screws for the panels come with red Loctite. I'm not sure that I like that because that's going to be pretty hard to get off. Already applied. Put these back in the box. Okay. Now the actual rifle itself. I looked at this rifle and the first thing I did is I picked it up because, you know, the URX 3.1 handguard has been renowned from being extremely light. This weapon system in general is extremely light. Now, the IWS, the SR-15 IWS, the non-mod one, the one with the 14.5-inch barrel, is even going to be significantly lighter because it has bald milled barrel in it. What that means is the barrel has been machined to be bald milled cut, kind of as a fluting to reduce weight off the barrel, and it's bald mill the entire way down. This one is not, because I think they were trying to keep accuracy as a keen thing with this model. This model, the 16 and 18-inch models, were to be used as a DMR roll, a designated marksman roll, so they didn't want to lighten the barrel up too much, which I could understand. I would have loved if I could have got this gun when it's 16-inch with the ball milled cuts into the barrel, because that probably would have saved, I'm going to say, at least 5-6 ounces off the barrel. I'm not too familiar with the ball milling on the barrels. But even as the gun sits, without the optic and the sling, when I picked it up, I could automatically tell that the weapon, just by feel, was just as light or lighter as a standard M4A1 with the regular Knight's Armament rail system on it, just a regular SOP mod Block 1 weapon, the ones we used to get back in the day. And that really surprised me. This is a 16-inch barrel. You know, the barrel's gonna be a little bit heavier, you know, and the rail system is longer, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it weighs the same as a regular RIS rail system that ships on government rifles. And that's really cool. And it comes with the crane style SOP mod stock, very familiar with. Not too much of a big fan, as I feel that the cheek weld kind of messes me up when I prefer either a standard carbine stock or, you know, a CTI or a CTR Magpul style stock, as it just, my face better conforms to it better. This one kind of messes the angle of my face up, but you know, I've had to carry these stocks on rifles many a times. You know, they're good stocks. But everything else, I'll get into the detail going from the muzzle to the toe of the rifle. Comes with the standard M16A2 bird cage. You know, they do that on reason. They don't want to put any muzzle brake or any sort of compensator on there. You know, there's a reason why military guns, for the most part, don't have muzzle brakes or compensators unless put on by the end user. And the reason why is because if you have your giant 2-port muzzle brake on the end of your weapon, yeah, it's doing good, you know, to dissipate that recoil and that muzzle rise, but at the same time, you know, the guy next to you, you know, he's feeling that. He's getting a concussion right in his face. And sometimes with some of these compensators or muzzle brakes, it literally feels like you're getting slapped in the face. And if you're in a really confined space with maybe 2 or 3 guys shooting, you know, in a small room, then, you know, you might be affecting your teammate's focus and his ability to engage targets effectively. I don't like that. I'd rather take the muzzle rise, because if you're shooting 7 meters and below, you know, you're not going to really worry about that. But going on to the rifle, it has a 16-inch barrel. It's chrome lined, and it is the cold hammer forged barrel. Looking just by the looks on the inside of the gas block, it looks like a really heavy-duty gas block. And I don't know if you can see it, if the lighting permits, but you can see where it's pinned into place. And you can see whoever did the pinning, you can see some scarring and some scratching on the metal, almost like it gave them pain, or maybe it was a really tight fit. I'm not sure. I'm sure that's not going to affect it at all. I'm sure it's going to be staked properly and it ain't going to be going nowhere. Then you see your actual gas tube. This runs the mid-length system, which is probably overall going to be your best system besides a rifle system. And I'm not aware of anybody making a 16-inch rifle system, 16-inch rifle gas length system on any weapons right now. I might be wrong. It has their standard low pro what do they call them? Flip ups, I guess. They're low pro 600 meter flip ups. I love these sights. The original ones, that's what comes on the block too now. They're pretty awesome. These ones are even slimmer and more profile. I mean, they're good. The backup iron sight's a backup iron sight. The rail system itself. This is the real shining part of the rifle, in my opinion, that this was designed for a military end user all the way. And the reason why is there's a lot of good handguards out there that are slimline in profile, that are very slick, that just have one continuous top rail. That's fine for, you know, I see that it's fine for a recreational shooter or a trainer or even a law enforcement officer. You know, if they have the ability to bolt on, you know, whatever rail panels they want to put their light or forward grip or whatever it is they want to put on there. The only problem with military end user is that, you know, everybody's running a laser aiming module, whether it be a PEC 2, PEC 5, PEC 15, or an LA5. And when you have these bolt-on rail sections, you know, you can bolt them on pretty tight, you can Loctite them, but I wouldn't want to trust my laser being mounted to something I bolted on, even if it's, you know, even if I torqued it to the right specs, Loctited it and everything else, because, you know, this weapon's recoiling, you're getting in and out of vehicles, it's getting banged around. You know, you just don't want to take any chances. And what they did is, instead of making a full-length rail system, like on most military systems, they lengthen it, or they chop the rail off for, you know, a great deal of the bottom and the side rail panels, and they just have it at the very end and at the very front of the rail. And what this allows you to do, if you're running some optics, like some ACOGs and, you know, your Elkins, you know, sometimes that PEC 15 or that LA5 will inhibit the view of that optic. Your field of view will be inhibited by the PEC 15 significantly with an ACOG. So a lot of guys will like to run their LA5 or PEC 15 on the side. And that's what this is designed for. This is a solid mount. You know, this is forged into the rail. This isn't going anywhere. This is not going to change your zero. It's not going to impact your shift of your zero on your laser. You know, if you mount your laser on the side here, it ain't going nowhere. And that's what's really cool, because, you know, it just, I feel that it was tailored towards the military crowd that needed something like that. And I wouldn't trust my laser or my life with anything else, because if you're going to have a laser, you need to assure that it's zeroed and that it's not going to lose its zeroed, because if not, then it's just useless. You just have something that looks cool on your gun. You know, with that said, if you do want a continuous rail, they sell the rail panels you can screw on and bolt on like you do the grip kits, which is definitely an option. I don't see it. I like it being extremely thin and low profile. It just, I have really big hands. I'm 6'4", I weigh 220 pounds. I have really big hands, and it's still, the skinny rail feels awesome, and it feels awesome even in my 5'3", 120 pound wife's hands. And, you know, it feels just as good at her hands as it does my hands, as compared to, you know, one of my other rifles that has, you know, the Daniel Defense, you know, SOCOM Riz, the Mark 18 Riz, you know, that comes on those guns now. I mean, that's pretty thick rail, but you know, in today's world. And then what I also liked about this rail, which if there's a rail manufacturer out there that isn't doing this now, they're worthless in my eyes. It is that this thing has a plethora of sling attachment points. You got 3 up front, 1 on each side and 1 on the bottom, and then you got another 3, no, I take that back, another 2 at the rear portion of the rail, 1 on each side. You know, that's good. You know, it's a truly ambidextrous setup, so you can run it however you want to. You know, I've seen everybody run slings in an assortment of ways, some good, some bad, you know, kind of a specific end user thing, but I like the option available. Working the way back to the weapon, you know, nothing new here. This is their full Ambi lower, which is, I think they make the best lower receiver on the market. You know, it has the Ambi safety, Ambi bolt release, and the Ambi mag release. You know, you see a lot of people, they have the Ambi safety and even the Ambi bolt release, but what you don't see a lot of the time is the Ambi mag release, which is on the other side. Great if you're a lefty. If my opinion, if you're a left-handed person, excuse me, you know, you should be running this gun, because this or the SCAR is going to be your best option available to you. The other thing that I absolutely love about their lower is on each side near the castle nut where your buffer tube is, on each side they have a QD swivel attachment points right there, which is awesome because that's where I love traditionally running my sling attachment points. So the trigger system is their own proprietary 2-stage match trigger. I've never felt the trigger before having this rifle, and I've clicked it, probably 50 times between now and since I bought it, and it's a pretty good trigger. I would compare it up there with the Geisley SSA and SSA-E, which is what all my other rifles have on them. But this is right up there with them. Going back to the back of the rifle, just real fast, standard crane style stop mod stock. I'm not sure who makes it, if it's a B5 system or they make it in-house. Standard mil-spec 6-position buffer tube. It is a 6, not a 4. And then they have their rear drum type style 3 to 600 meter micro flip up, which is also good. This is kind of I like to say it's a hybrid between a standard aperture system that you see on a lot of them. A lot of even like the old carrying handles had 2 apertures. It had what they called a daytime and a nighttime. Well, that wasn't it at all. It wasn't a day or nighttime, because at nighttime you're not looking through your peeps anyways on an iron-sighted weapon. What that was is that was a close quarters engagement and more of a long distance engagement system. Your smaller peep aperture is going to allow your eye to focus a little bit better. It closes that gap. You don't have as much wiggle room, so to say, when you're lining up your front and rear sight, and that's why this diameter of the hole is smaller at the rear. Then it had the larger one, so you could acquire your target fast, and it wasn't as hard for your eye to focus through this tiny itty bitty hole to get in there and get your sights on target fast. Well, this one is in between both of those, and the only thing I wish they would do different about this sight is somehow incorporate. I love the drum. I love the adjustable drum on it. I love how it's built. I love how it flips up. I love how it's kind of towered. I just wish there was some way they could have a dual aperture system like the carry handles, where you have a super small aperture and then you have the old O2 style aperture for quick acquisition. Because if it's a backup sight, this kind of limits its use because it's in between both of the style of apertures. So, I would say if your optic took a dump on you and you had to use this to take like 25-meter shots really fast, reflexive firing, this is kind of going to inhibit you because the aperture is kind of a little bit too small, which is why a lot of people like the Troy backup iron sights, which is what I run on my other guns, because it gives you the option of the two styles of apertures on your rear sight. But it's still a great rear sight, and I'm pretty sure this is for long distance shooting probably the best backup flip up iron sight on the market. I've shot these before, and they are pretty phenomenal, and I know the Marine Corps, this is like what they standard issue now. So charging handle is their own proprietary gunfighter style charging handle. It has probably the equivalent of what's on the BCM small gunfighter charging handle for the latch. I haven't inspected it too much to see if they redesigned the roll pin area. I'm pretty sure they haven't, so it's just going to be standard with a nice little latch. So with that, I'll bust open the rifle and I'll go over the features of the rifle internally. See if I can do this one-handed. Their stuff's machined so well that it fits exactly how it's supposed to fit. Your capture pins, your takedown pins for your lower and upper, they come apart exactly how they're supposed to, because everything's machined perfectly. Okay. And what this rifle is known for, besides its barrel and its lower, is its bolt. Okay? This bolt is what they call in their brochure the E3 enhanced bolt. And what this means is actually on the bolt head, instead of the bolt head, let me see if I can get it in there. Instead of the bolt notches being traditionally squared, they do extra machining to make them round. And what that does is that aids in the extraction process, and it actually theoretically makes the rifle more reliable, which I personally believe it does. Over time, if you put like tens of thousands of rounds in your your regular mil-spec bolt carrier group, they're going to naturally round themselves out a little bit anyways, but they go the extra step to really round these out to get them in there good. I'm not sure what that does about sealing, if that has anything negative effect on the sealing, the gas seal of the rifle when it's actually in operation, but I'm going to guess not, as they would have designed it so if not. It says full, besides their enhanced bolt, it's a full mil-spec carrier. It's an auto bolt. You know, you don't want anything else than that. The gas key is properly staked. Just doesn't have two little notches in on the side of the screws. It's staked. Those aren't backing out. That's not going to happen. And those are things that you really need to look for in your bolt. You know, standard firing pin in there, and everything else is pretty much standard mil-spec finish on it. Your cam pin, all that good stuff. Your retaining pin, all mil-spec. Doesn't have any fancy coatings on it. You know, I'll get into modern coatings on modern day firearms in another video, but you know, that's what you're getting. Looking at the charging handle now, yeah, this appears just to be a regular charging handle. I don't see any beef added, any beefier roll pins, or any special machining done to strengthen your charging handle. And I have seen charging handles bent before because of the modern manual of arms and how we use our charging handles now, because they were not designed for that. But that's also another video. One of the first things I did is I locked open this weapon. See the trigger. I wanted to see the trigger, and you know, you can tell it's different than a regular mil-spec trigger. You know, the hammer is quite skinnier. You know, and the trigger pull itself is completely different, and the actual internals of the trigger look different. It's gonna be interesting to see how this trigger holds up to use. I'm pretty sure that it will, as most AR triggers are pretty good about taking abuse. It's a fairly good design concept for the triggers in these guns. Now, I found odd, I wanted to see what kind of spring and buffer combo they were using. So I popped open the rifle and I took out the buffer, and I guess it's their own proprietary buffer. I was expecting you know, to see an H, H1, H2, H10, whatever. Well, it wasn't like that. I'm pretty sure this is an H or carbine H or H1. I know this isn't an H2, but it's their own proprietary. It's just marked SR-15, and of course a standard carbine spring. So that goes in there, and working back, I already talked about the stock, already talked about the buffer tube, you know, all mil-spec, everything's good to go there. I have not shot this rifle yet. This rifle has no rounds. This was kind of an unboxing review, you know, just to give a better gist of what you're actually getting, and for some guys out there that are looking to get into a try and do this one. They're looking to get their own M4 and they want something extremely high quality. You know, this is definitely an option for you. Okay. So that's that. Now, I ordered this weapon. I did some panic buying, I ain't gonna lie. I ordered this weapon, I want to say a week, maybe less than a week after Sandy Hook. You know, it was impossible. It was on back ordered. I didn't want to get gouged on it. You know, I really didn't need this rifle. This rifle was not bought to really to even be used by me per se. I might sell it, transfer it to a friend who's currently stationed in Germany right now. When he gets back, when he's done with his contract and enlistment, I might sell to him as since he is not over here, he has not had the opportunity to buy a rifle yet. So, you know, I kind of bought this. I had this in the minds of him as one day, you know, of transferring it, a legal transfer over to him. Because he's, you know, he has some things he wants to do, and he needs actually a real quality, high-end mil-spec grade weapon system, and this definitely fits the bill. I paid $20.55 for this weapon shipped. That might even be below the MSRP for this mod 1. I'm not sure, but it was a very good price, cheaper than anywhere else I could find them, even before Sandy Hook. Before Sandy Hook, you were looking at like $21.50 was the cheapest I could find it, like at Nisic Guns and stuff. And you know, and I think they were sold out on some of the models. But this one I paid $20.55, and I bought it from SK Arms, and I had to wait until, you know, he was lucky enough to be one of the first guy to get a new batchment of rifles in from Knights. And I got this rifle because the guy who was originally on the waiting list for it backed out, and I was the next one on the list, and I got it. If I wouldn't been the next one on the list, I would have had to wait another month to get one like this, if I could have gotten one. God only knows who or when Nice is shipping. So I was lucky enough to get this one. SK Arms, cannot highly recommend them enough, out of Texas. Phenomenal online gun store. Very quality products. If you look on his webpage, he doesn't stock crap. You're not going to see Tapco. You're not going to see just this stocking crap that he's there to make money. His product line is quality. He carries Surefire. He carries Schmidt & Bender. He carries Night Force. He carries Knight's Armament, LWRC. He carries those kinds of items in his, you know, in his inventory because, you know, those are quality items. And he didn't price gouge at all. He was very friendly, returned all my phone calls. I never emailed him once. I hate going over email because, you know, the military is so driven by email these days that I just can't stand it anymore. And I just hate this to not interact with somebody, you know, voice to voice or face to face. So I dealt with him exclusively over the phone, and it wasn't a problem. Even with SHOT Show, still wasn't a problem. I will most certainly, I've done business with him in the past, and I will probably continue to do business with him. So if you're looking for a good Knight's Armament dealer, he is a stocking dealer, or a Surefire dealer for that matter, you know, go to him. He's the dude to go to. So this was my review of the Knight's Armament SR-15 IWS mod 1. I am going to be going to shoot this tomorrow. I'm hoping to put about 500 rounds through it. It's going to be, you know, standard. It's going to be a standard range. It's going to be a little bit of mix of everything. I plan on zeroing the weapon, of course. I'm going to zero it with the EOTech because that's all I have for this weapon right now. Eventually, it's going to get an Elk Inspector DR, and then 1x4, and then I'm probably going to do some reflexive firing at 25 meters and below, and then I'm going to probably do some sort of stress shoot with it, you know, and then I'm probably going to do some sort of combat accuracy test with it, range conditions depending. I think I can go up to like maybe 200 or 300 meters at my family's farm. So, you know, that's going to be dependent. It's also snowing, so I don't know how far I'll be able to get out or how far I'll actually be able to see the damn target. So look for that. It's not going to, you know, I don't expect this weapon, as of right now, it's not going to get an extremely high round life count on it. I don't expect to shoot 20,000 rounds out of this gun. One thing, I don't have that kind of money to put towards ammo anymore because I'm recently just ETS'd, and I do not have the money that I did on active duty to purchase ammo and fund my own training, in addition to all the training I was receiving professionally. So, you know, my ammo is being used very conservatively, and I have to get literally every penny out of its value for training purposes only. You know, just going out there and dumping rounds on the ground, because that's just a waste of time and money. Especially, you know, I was lucky to buy ammo before Sandy Hook, a lot of it, of M193. So I have some ammo to train on, and I do want to test this weapon out to get a better gauge on it, to see how it shoots. You know, I'm expecting to be able to hit an IPSC silhouette at 600 meters at it. That's what I expect out of this weapon. you know, it's of course with like a 4-power style optic, because you can't even see them with your naked eye almost at that distance. So more to come on that. I might throw my Night Force 2.5 by 10 just to see if that is a fairly possible, regular thing with this rifle. I have a feeling it's going to be. I have a feeling I'm going to be able to hit paper plates probably at 300 meters with pretty good ease. So look forward to that video of me actually testing this weapon and running it, because I will be running it, and I'll be running it pretty hard. More to follow. Stay tuned. If you have any questions or you want to see or know anything else more about the weapon system, just give me a holler. I couldn't weigh it. All I have is a household scale in my house, and it would not allow for me to weigh a weapon on it. I tried. It could weigh my big ass, but not, I guess, a 6, 7, 8 pound weapon system. So I don't know. I might be able to find a scale I can weigh it on or something. So more to follow on that. And this was my video on the Knight's Armament PWS mod 1 E3 16-inch AR-15.